Center. Most recently, a $25 million countywide radio improvement project. These latest improvements made within Erie County and the City of Erie unsuccessfully used by first responders across the country. This situation has led myself and the fire administration to find reliable yet affordable solutions to this situation. In July of 2019, the City of Erie Fire Department started using a mobile alerting platform called BRICS 911. This alerting and messaging platform provides fast, enhanced communications between our fire dispatch center and our firefighters. Impressive features include routing, navigation, turn-by-turn navigation, hydrant main sizes, along with addresses and nature of the emergency. This platform will now be used in all of our frontline fire apparatus thanks to a grant from the CSX Transportation. This grant is allowing us to place 9 7th-generation iPads in all frontline fire apparatus. The data being sent to these iPads is arriving via the AT&T Firstnet platform. I would like to invite Ben Duchess from AT&T Firstnet to come up and say a few words. Ben?
Hey, good morning, everyone. Thanks, Captain Casella, for having us here today to talk a little bit about what we're able to do for the Erie Fire Department. My role with AT&T Firstnet as a local consultant is to make sure that the message of Firstnet is spread loud and clear. We're at a time and days where wildfires, civil unrest, COVID-19 have put a strain on communications for first responders. Firstnet is allowing our first responders to communicate with priority and preemption on the network 24/7, 365. The iPads that the Erie Fire Department are now using inside their rigs has given them the ability to communicate, have connectivity as they need it, when they need it, 24/7, with no throttling of that data, and able to respond and communicate essentially on the go with priority service. But we appreciate the opportunity to serve the Erie Fire Department. We are here to help them in any way that we possibly can from now in the future. Firstnet is here with a 25-year contract with the federal government to provide those services to all first responders across the nation. So with that, thank you again, Matt.
Thank you, Ben. The other grant, before that, we were recently awarded grants totaling $72,500 from multiple sources, including the Hammett Health Foundation, for placing the same technology that's in our fire apparatus in our fire stations. We're going to have Boo Haggerty from the Hammett Health Foundation join us to say a few words, how they played a vital role in this. Boo?
Yeah.
We also, David.
Thank you. This check cannot go to the bank. It's all a prop for sure. But I'm Boo Haggerty from the Hammett Health Foundation. And on behalf of our foundation, I represent, I'm just a steward of our great donors. And we've had many donors. And this particular check of $22,500 is coming out of a fund from a person who really, probably his life was extended 10 to 15 years because of the two great guys next to me. And what he wanted to do when he passed away, he left a fund for us to support community initiatives, and he was really supportive of the firefighters. So we're using a fund at the Hammett Health Foundation that in fact is from Frank Wisniewski, and Frank is featured in our cath lab. And it's $22,500, and it's all because of Captain Costello's tenacity, for sure, and Frank's generosity. We're just stewards. But I'm happy to be with Dr. David Strasser and Dr. Richard Petrella, two cardiologists who have supported now nearly 3 decades the firefighters, and I wanted them to say a few words. So.
One of the things as you round third base in life is you have your bucket list. And one of the things I've always wanted to do is to talk with firefighters in a firehouse. And that's because of a couple of things. When I was 8 years old, my grandfather was a dentist, and he happened to have a sudden cardiac death in our house, extracting an impacted wisdom tooth on a Sunday night. in the mid-60s. Of course, there was no 911, there were no defibrillators, there were no CPR. And the doctor came over to the house, and that was the end. Fast forward now to 10 years as a little kid watching TV and being very impressed, and some of you that are in my age group remember a show called Emergency. And I thought it was really cool that, gee, now we can do something. And then fast forward to medical school where I was at Hahnemann, which was a fireman and policeman hospital. And for 4 years I saw policemen and firemen, first responders, and the work they did and the injuries that they incurred, including everything up to the Move fire, where the Philadelphia Fire Department was actually fired upon trying to put out the fire in the Move house. So I have a lot of deep respect for first responders, having some second and third cousins on the force in Philadelphia. I've been here 30 years. David has been here about the same, and we've been throughout all of the medical staffs for the 30 years, been very impressed as part of the trauma program and otherwise as to the dedication and bravery of all of our first responders here in Erie. I know when Dr. Joe McClellan started the physical exams for the fire department, which now Dr. Strasser leads, that's just one example of our commitment. This technology, to me, does several things. First of all, it makes your job more efficient and safer for you, and more importantly for us, it allows patients to get to us sooner. And we all know that no matter what your problem is, the sooner that you come to the hospital, the better your chances are of survival. So I'd like to thank the mayor, the fire department, and the Health Foundation for this opportunity to speak. Thank you.
Okay, the final grant that I would like to bring you an update on is our personal bailout kits. We have one of these here, and we'll be able to look at this. This small package here is very important. It's only has a cost of $262 per kit, and it's a life insurance policy for our firefighters. This is it's a very important thing, a step in safety for the fire department here. This final grant. Over the past few years, the Fire Administration and the Safety Committee, we've identified a need for this personal escape system for our firefighters. This will allow themselves to escape a hazardous location in the event of an emergency where their egress is cut off. These personal escape systems consist of 50 feet of heat-resistant rope, a descent device, and a specialized hook. Over the past year, we were able to secure $12,000 from the Joseph P. DiBernardo Foundation to supply our firefighters with the proper training and escape kits. Mayor? One other thing we'll have, we will be doing a demonstration of the bricks station alert.
Thank you.
Sure.
Thanks very much, Captain Costello. That's all wonderful news. And I really want to thank everyone, including Boo and Dr. from Hammett, for what you've done to help support our Erie firefighters. Next, we're joined by 4 representatives, or I might be 3 representatives actually, from the Erie Water Works, who have worked closely with the Erie Fire Department and played an instrumental role in bringing bricks system to Erie with a grant. So we welcome Craig Palmer, Senior Manager, Engineering Services. Where is he? Okay, thank you. Justin Stengel, GIS Coordinator, and Amanda Dunnigan, GIS Analyst and Development. I believe, Amanda, you're going to say a few words or introduce this. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Amanda Donegan with the Erie Waterworks. I'm very excited to be here today in representation of us in our ongoing partnership with the City of Erie Fire Department. We have been communicating with the fire department for many, many decades, and we are looking forward to this new avenue that they are taking with BRICS 911, the mobile application. It is giving us a chance to share our accelerated GIS hydrant data with them in order for them to leverage it on their end for emergency response. The use of BRICS real-time data sharing to communicate important hydrant information in the event of an emergency or even routine maintenance is very exciting to us. BRICS will now act as the bridge in order to serve up our data to the City of Erie Fire Department. Our information will now be at the fingertips of the fire department through their new mobile software, the iPads that they're going to demonstrate. And this is accelerating the way they used to look up hydrant information by means of paper and engineering drawings. So we are highly advanced now, going to digital applications that are going to be with every first responder. And we look forward to continuing our relationship with the City of Erie Fire Department and always in efforts to improving emergency management. And we will be continuing to share our information as we change our information. It'll be real time coming to them as we get it, they'll get it. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Amanda. We appreciate Erie Waterworks' participation in this. So here's a quick review of the 3 grants that were obtained by Captain Costello with the help of grant writer Abby Skinner. First, the iPads. CSX Transportation awarded the fire department $5,000 for those. For the BRICS Fire Learning System, $72,500 from multiple sources, including, as you saw, $22,500 from the Hammett Health Foundation. And finally, for the bailout kits and training award, $12,000 from the Lieutenant Joseph D. Bernardo Foundation. Captain Costello also told us that they were recently awarded a second Lieutenant Joseph P. Di Bernardo Foundation Award of $12,000. That'll be coming in next year. Now, there certainly could be issues with the installation of these new systems. I'm sure our firefighters have prepared as much as possible to install these new systems, but we ask for your patience while your firefighters work out any bugs in the new systems as they're implemented. We aren't quite done telling you yet about grants for the Erie Fire Department. Earlier this month, we received word from the Department of Homeland Security that FEMA approved an application submitted for fiscal year 2019 called the Assistance to Firefighters Grant. The Assistance to Firefighters Grant was approved in the amount of $539,636.36, all from federal funding, which sets award limits and matching fund percentages based on population data such as the census, but more on that later. As a condition of this grant, we are required to contribute non-federal funds at least equal to 10% of the federal funds awarded. That amount is $53,963.64, which brings the total budget to $593,600. So by investing about $54,000, we have almost $594,000 to enable our fire department to protect the health and safety of the public and themselves from fire and other related hazards. I'd like to bring to the podium Chief Joe Walco to give us a quick update on how the Assistance to Firefighter Grant funding will be used. Chief.
First off, I'd like to thank sincerely everybody that came here today. It makes a big difference for us firefighters. This was a really important grant for us because our equipment is pretty old. First, this grant will enable us to purchase 77 breathing apparatus known as SCBAs, self-contained breathing apparatus. Our current units are 10 and 11 years old, and 2 levels below the National Fire Protection Association standards. Replacement units include harness, backpack, face pieces, 154 cylinders, 2 per unit. The cost per unit is $6,800 for a total cost of $523,600. It is vital that we secure this equipment. We need another 38 units to be able to outfit all of our firefighters. So we are searching for additional funding to purchase those, as well as some spare cylinders. Spares are important because when we go to a fire, especially a major structure fire, we may go through 3 or 4 tanks. And this grant allowed us to get 2 tanks per unit. We do need additional tanks. Second of all, this grant will be able to purchase air compressor cascade filling station. The one we have now is over 30 years old. We really got our money's worth out of it. But this grant's going to enable us to spend $70,000 to buy a new one. It will be capable of working with higher pressures, which could prolong the volume of air in the tank so we can stay in a building longer. Assistant Fire Chief Len Trott, Deputy Chief Vance Duncan provided assistance with required details for the AFG application that were critical to securing this grant. I want to thank Captain Costello, Abby Skinner, Lisa Glomosol from Finance for all the hard work on these grants. We are excited to be able to purchase this equipment for the safety of our firefighters as they protect life and property and serve the community. This will make a big difference for us. Thank you.
Next, we're going to actually demo the brick system. So if you want to kind of focus your attention over here, moving forward with that.
Okay, we're going to run a demonstration of the bricks platform. What we'll be seeing inside the fire stations is a 55-inch display monitor, and we will also hear the audio heart saver tones and the text-to-speech system. So, again.
Fire, 6/26 date. Test call structure fire, Erie City Hall, reported smoke on the 5th floor. Engine 8, Deputy Chief 322, Engine 12, Engine 11, Tower 2. Fire, 6/26 date. Test call structure fire, Erie City Hall, reported smoke on the 5th floor. Engine 8, Deputy Chief 322, Engine 12, Engine 11, Tower 2.
Okay, that was the brick system in action. We've seen the ramped up lighting along with the cardiac heart saver tones that we heard. On the display monitor, you see a screenshot of City Hall where the location of the incident was, and it also gives a routing mapping from our location to the incident for a quick glance for the apparatus operators here. I'd also like to take this time to recognize that this is a team effort in putting all this together. I would like to thank the Erie Water Works, AT&T Firstnet, CSX Transportation, the administration and staff from the Erie County 911 Center. They're a vital role in this whole project. The Hammett Health Foundation, and our city grant writer, Abigail Skinner. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Captain Costello, Chief, and all our firefighters. Thank you very much. It's neat to see this new equipment coming in that we need so much. Thank you all for doing everything you can to protect the residents of Erie. I wanted to reiterate our thanks also to Captain Costello and Abby Skinner. Thanks to them, the grant awards we announced today total $629,636.36. Finally today, I just want to say a few more words about the census. The results of the 2020 census will help determine how much of the hundreds of billions of dollars in federal funding that will flow into the Erie region over the next decade, the next 10 years. It's estimated that about 50,519 people in Erie County may not complete the census this year. If that happens, we will lose over $106 million in federal funding per year, every year, for the next 10 years, which means we'd be losing over $1 billion in federal funding over the next 10 years here in Erie County. This funding is crucial for firefighters like ours. Without the grants mentioned today, our fire department would not have all the cutting-edge equipment it needs to do the job. Over the next decade, firefighters will use census data also to decide where to put fire hydrants and make other life-saving decisions. There are only 13 days left to complete the census. We are currently at about a 64% self-response rate. In 2010, the city's census self-response rate total was 69.7%. So I'm challenging Erie residents to exceed that this year. Let's try to hit a self-response rate of at least 70%, which requires about 6,000 more city residents to take the census. And the census is also going out and going to people that haven't reported, and those numbers aren't included in what I'm talking about here. So please encourage everyone you know to take the census. Number one, make sure you've taken it yourself for you and your family, but also make sure your brother, your sister, your mom and dad, your grandma, grandpa, your aunts, uncles, friends, neighbors, and any colleagues you have, talk to them about the census over the next 13 days here and make sure everybody's done it. For just a little bit more motivation, my team created a contest. In our weekly drawings, you can win $100 in gift cards to restaurants and local businesses. In October, we'll do a grand prize drawing for $1,000 in cash from every city resident that's completed the census and enter the drawing. To enter, just go to censuserie.com. By the way, all your personal information given in the census is protected by law. The Census Bureau is not allowed to release any personal data on individuals for at least 72 years. The data is used only for statistical purposes along with information from other area residents. Your home and anyone living there are never identified again for at least 72 years. The census has only 9 questions. It's very easy to complete. Those questions are: what's your name, your age, your date of birth, your sex, your race, your telephone number, how many people live with you, where were the additional people staying, any additional people staying on April 1st with you, and if you live in a house, apartment, or a mobile home. That's all that's to it. So just go to censuserie.com for directions on how to complete the census and also enter to win the $1,000 cash and the weekly drawings for $100 in gift cards to local restaurants and businesses. That concludes today's press conference. Thanks very much to our fire department for putting this on here today. It was a neat change of scenery and some very good information on the grants. I'm proud of you. Everyone who spoke is now available for interviews. Thanks everyone for being here.